Hi everyone, good morning. Okay, so how was the vacation for you guys? 4 days vacation or 4 day practice? Did you guys make the best use of it? Great. Probably if we have another Python exam or Python test, now it would be much better. Were you able to go through the statistics also or just went through the Python part of it? So what all did you cover in Python when you were revising? That's difficult to solve questions in Python. Okay. So basically in Python, focus a lot more on pandas, NumPy, and then the other library is SciPy. Okay, SciPy for all the statistical thing, and you'll find us using SciPy in machine learning also. Okay, so from purely data science perspective, I think list dictionaries, how to use them, how to manipulate them are very important. Okay, so you should, I mean, your hand should be clear in those aspects. And then pandas and NumPy makes things a lot easier. Okay, so reading data sets from different location, different types. So basically reading JSONs, reading CSVs, reading Excels, right? And so a common problem you will find while reading Excel is that the format, a lot in the date format. And you won't find this problem in any of these synthetic data sets. These will be there in the real world data sets. Okay. How many of you have a Kaggle account? If someone don't have it yet, can they create it right now? Secondly, GitHub. In case any one of you don't have, please make it right now so that I'm sure that all of us have. So one is Kaggle, just go to kaggle.com and sign up. Other is github.com and sign up. Okay. And how many of you have used Kaggle kernels? How many have you used Kaggle kernels? Okay, once I've so what we'll do is today we'll try to, so you all can see on my screen, right? Sure, Abhishek. You can list them down in the chat and then we can cover it up. So basically for any competition, you can find this, the code which people have written. Okay. And what you can do is just click on copy and edit. So you create a copy and then it will take some time. It's a bit slow. Okay. And once you have it done, okay, you will have a notebook like interface where you can run the cells, add data to the cells, and do all the manipulations that you want to. The benefit of using Kaggle kernel is that you don't have to basically download the code in local or worry about the machines. But then you can't run multiple sessions. There is some speed issues available with that. Okay. So there are lots of things which are good as well as which are bad. Okay. So let's do one thing. So I've copied one Kaggle kernel, and then what I'll do is remove all the modeling part of it. Okay. And just I have kept the EDA part of it. Now quickly I'll just save a version. So I am sharing one Kaggle kernel with you. All you guys need to do is visit this particular link. Okay. Do a copy and edit and publish your own Kaggle kernels right now. Okay. And then we'll see how we can do different things out there. So we'll keep on revisiting this Titanic datasets, even for machine learning and deep learning and for statistical models. So sure, Abhishek will take up your questions also now. Okay. Can everyone just quickly go to this link? Okay. Everyone firstly should have a Kaggle account, right? Go to this link, do and copy and edit, save their version, then click on, share and make it public, and then share it with me on the chat. So this way we all know just how to get started. Okay. Then we'll do different stuff in this same notebook. We'll do all the EDA in this particular notebook only and try to see what are things or what all we can do in this particular data set. Can everyone do it quickly? Then we'll take up Abhishek's questions. And today we'll do a revision of all the statistical concepts. Okay. Quickly, once done, share me your link the way I have shared right now. If there are any issues, let me know on the chat, but do this as the first thing today. Okay. In the meantime, I have a couple of more things that I wanted to discuss you about placements and things going forward. Okay. Competition requiring acceptance. Yeah, do I accept? If you don't accept there might be a pop-up. If you don't accept the rules and regulations of that competition, you won't be able to.
सर मैंने वो फॉलो करा, एडिट एंड कॉपी करा तो ये आया उसके बाद।
उसमें एक पॉपअप आया होगा where you have to accept their rules and regulation of that competition. So what you can do also is in this notebook, okay. So when is it same for everyone? Because there should be a pop-up which should come out here. Yes, no. In case there is, go to this particular link, okay, and basically click here. There should be a button that you want to submit, okay, or you want to be part of this competition. साहिल ये 404 वाला लिंक नहीं होगा एडिट के बाद when you change it to public then only you can see. So go to this particular link and there should be a button out here, okay, which should say that you want to edit it or you want to participate in this competition. Click on yes there. So firstly you have to edit it, okay. Once you have done it, then all you need to do is, let me go back there. So there is this share button, click on this share, okay, change it to public, okay, and once you change it to public there will be a public URL which you can see. Just copy it from here and share, okay, and you can collaborate also, like two people can work on the same code here. Save version will save the file, share button and changing it to public will share, okay. If you do it private there won't be anything, it will be only save. Change it to public. Once done, quickly share your notebooks, share your URLs. Samrad has done, probably. Yeah, I can see his. Everyone else, please try it out right now, even if you know. I know a lot of you already know everything, but that's fine. Amit Kumar, okay. Yes, I think I can visit your link, Akansh, Amit, for you also. Let me check. Right. Change the header, okay, so that you can just make it from yours, remove the simple model and all, okay. Now keep this notebook always handy, and whenever you get, okay, keep this URL, okay, handy to yourself, and whenever you get this particular EDA exercise or you find something new on EDA, always try on this dataset, okay. So what it will help you out is, in case whenever there's a hiring competition or there is any kind of hackathon or anything, okay, that time what you will have is that you already have list of steps that you need to replicate for any new data. So just use this URL, okay. Always whenever you have a new technique for which you want to analyze the data, add it to this data set, okay. Keep this as a reference, okay. Like some of the things you already have out here, which you can see. Is everyone done? I think a lot of people are done. Secondly, is everyone done with their GitHubs? Okay, Yatan, there won't be any unwanted emails. So prefer you, like I'll say, to use the Gmail which you check the most. Okay, because this is something that you will need. Okay. Now, a couple of more things before we start. Okay. Um, is everyone done? Quick yes, no? Can everyone check their name on this list? Amit, please do the GitHub. Okay. With GitHub, you can start with this. I'll send you one of my repos. Okay. What you need to do is go to this particular link, sign up for GitHub. Okay. And then what you can do is click on this fork button. So once you click fork button, okay, in my case, these are my organizations for which I have worked for. Okay. But in your case, it will be there won't be any pop-up like this, and you will be able to directly fork it into your repository in your GitHub account. So that way you will have a URL name, let's say Amit/Python tutorial. Okay. Start with this, or even basic once you have created. Okay. Uh, go to repositories. Okay. And click on new and create a new repository, maybe let's say Immaticus Learning. Everyone can create this Immaticus Learning, or maybe I think this will be better so that we all can collaborate also in this. So just create a new repository with this particular name. Once you click on create repository, it will create. Make sure it is public. Okay. So all the assignments that you will do from here with all the notebooks that you will do, should be shared on GitHub in this particular repository. Yatin, have you joined today? Okay, I'll add. And Jatin, can you send all the message to everyone in the group? That will be actually better. And Yatin, you have gone through the statistics course, right? I guess that's what I was told. So Amit, there is no link. Go to, okay, follow the steps. You have to create a repository on GitHub with the name Ematicus_learning. Okay. All the assignments and all the lectures, every material that you will share now from now on, okay, should be present in this particular repository. Okay. Or what I'll do is I'll create one repository, all of you can just fork it. So I'll just create a repository with the name learning. Okay. Collate all learning. Why I'm creating one is so that we all can collaborate out here. Okay. Now, it will be hidden till the time you don't have any, we haven't created anything out here. So it will be like that. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll create a small readme file. So readme.md. Okay. And we'll just write a description of this repository. This is a repository to store all my experiments, anything. Once you do this, okay, commit a new file. Okay, all the fork option and everything should be activated. Okay. So from going forward, whatever code you submit it via this. Okay. For now, we will use the graphical interface of it, and then I'll tell you how to use command line. Okay. But for now, let's start using the graphical interface. For example, if you have to upload a code. So let's say I want to upload one of my notebooks, and probably let's go to Python exam. Okay, I should not have uploaded for someone else. Okay, so let's say I wanted to upload this particular notebook. So I've uploaded. I should write whatever, what is the commit message? Basically, a small description about the files I am adding. So let's, in this case, I have just added. This should be very concise. Added a notebook for data manipulation. Okay. And I click on commit. Okay. So once I click it, okay, my particular notebook should come out here. Okay. And then when you have to share it with me, okay, with any of us, you can use this. Okay. The other way to use GitHub is to use GitHub Gist. Okay. Here, you don't need to create repository to share code. Okay. You can directly share the notebooks. Okay. So basically, with the same account, you should be able to use it, and you can actually upload the same thing out here and share it with everyone else. For example, let's say I have a file. So what I'll do is, let's start with mm, notebooks. Create it public. Sorry everyone, like I got a very important call. Uh, just give me 2 minutes, but in the meantime, can you all create your repository and upload any notebook and share it with me? Okay, quickly. And then for those who have created GitHub, go to GitHub Gist and create Gist out there. Okay, similar to what you did earlier, very similar thing. Okay. I'll be back in a minute. Was everyone able to do it? But how to share GitHub link? This is just control copy, control C, whatever URL is there. This is your repository. Okay, so in order, this is called a repository. Repository is nothing but one particular folder where all your code is saved. Okay, so if I just click here, this is the, you know, this is my repository. If I do this, this is my GitHub profile. Okay, this is my GitHub profile. So this is profile, this is repository, the two links I have shared. Okay. So here you will be able to see the kind of contributions I have, which companies I have contributed to. Okay. So you'll be able to see a lot of things. Okay. Like I'm also one of the contributors for, Arctic Code Vault. If you know this program, this is like one of the program which was done for uh, basically all the GitHub code was saved in an Arctic vault underwater, so that in case there is an apocalypse, right, your code will still be there. So all those things. Okay. In between, I haven't coded a lot in November, December, so you'll be able to see. Okay, so you can see a lot of things, and you should always have this particular representation uh, for any data scientist or any ML or AI engineer. Okay. Okay. Uh, mm, Abhishek, I'll take your questions first. Till the time everyone does, I'm just finding your questions again. Okay, so best way to make data normal. So there's something called central limit theorem, and we will do a revision also. So with central limit theorem, you can convert any data to normal. Okay, but then if a data is non-normal, you should not try to make it normal. Okay, there are few things that we can apply. What we can use is a log, uh, change everything to log scale, or change everything to exponential scale, to so as to compress or expand the data. You can do those two things, okay, to have a best approximation of values which are very spread out, but then you don't make the data normal. Okay, you only, by default everything is normal, by because of the central limit theorem, and we will read about central limit theorem today again. Okay, I've covered it in one of my initial sessions, but we'll cover it again. Does that answer your question? Fine. Okay. Now the other part is even that same for kurtosis, okay, and skewness. But kurtosis, if you want to remove, there are two ways. I mean, there are actually many ways. So one is min-max scalar, another is standardizing the data, which is nothing but mean standardization, and then we have something called median standardization. Okay, that will reduce the kurtosis by a bit. And then we have logarithmic. Again, logarithmic will, what it will do is it will change the range so that the kurtosis value reduces a bit. Okay, but these all are transformations which are done for giving that data to a machine learning model. Okay, nothing more than that. So once we start with machine learning, Abhishek, we'll cover all these transformations, and there you will see which transformation is affecting the data in what way. In case you want to try it out, okay, I'll show you how. So one is min-max normalization. Okay. So there is a class in sklearn.preprocessing. One is min-max scaler. I'll show you all the scalars which are there. Okay. Yeah. So one is min-max scaler, and then you have different types of scaling that you can use. There is again, this is converting it to unit norm, basically where the mean is 1. Okay. So you'll have different things that we will be using it, okay, throughout our machine learning journey, and we'll see which to use where. Okay. So for each of these normalizer, there is a function also, min-max scale. Okay. And where you can define what is the min and what is the max. Similarly, there's a normalize function also which you can use. Okay. What it will do is it will do anything like just converting the data to a normal, but basically converting it to a unit norm. Okay, so we'll cover about L1, L2 norms back there when we start with regression, where it will make much more sense. Okay, but just giving you an idea that these things are there, and mostly all these norms, the L1, L2 norm, which I was telling you, is nothing but this. Okay, are used in regression analysis, and we'll cover about it. And regression is a vast topic. Okay, so I have personally worked on regression for 3 years, 2 to 3 years, right? Before the deep learning became hot. Okay, and that time none of the people used to call it machine learning. Okay, but nowadays that's also part of machine learning. Back then it used to be part only of statistical learning. Sure, Akansh. I'll take one session about Seaborn. Don't worry. So what we'll do is we'll have a revision session, probably. I have a notebook where I have all the codes for Seaborn. Okay. Let me see if I can pop it right now.
So just want to know one thing. Ki yesterday I was going through a data set.
Yeah.
So there was I got to know ki it is right skewed.
Yes.
But what exactly in the stats, ki what exactly I can summarize by saying it's right skewed by 15, by a range of 15. So what exactly I can say, what exactly I can summarize by saying it's right skewed and the range is between this and this.
Okay. So first thing about the shape, you can say it right skewed just by looking at the distribution. Okay. That's one. Secondly, the value of it will give you an idea on how much skewed it is. Okay. Now the third part, how does this value is relevant to me, right? The third part on which why this value is relevant is you have to relate this to your business outcome. So let's say you are I'm going into modeling. Let's say you are predicting salary, okay? And or you're looking at a variable named salary. So if you find there is some right skewness in the salary part, what you can take from that is that this particular company A, whose salary is given to us, okay, these guys are not playing along. I mean, what they are doing is to their junior employees, they are paying very less salary, and most of them are in their junior category. There are only few people who are getting high salary, right? So that ways you have to explain yourself, like or explain the business, I'll say, that what is the significance of it. Does that kind of answers your question? So let's say uh, okay, this is my salary, this is 10K, this is 20K. Here you have something like 1 CR, 10 lakhs, okay, or 1 lakh, right? So this chunk of people, and this you will find this kind of distribution a lot in companies like Maruti, company like BMWs, or any car, any manufacturer for say. Okay, you'll find such distributions. For IT company, this distribution will be skewed, but not this much skewed. Okay, now how you can compare these two is using coefficient of variation, which we talked about. If you want to compare two, let's say this is company A, this is company B, I want to compare two, then I have to use something called coefficient of variations. In order to compare which of these companies has a better range, I can't use the value of skewness or kurtosis directly. Okay.
So just want to know कि in a data somebody data upload करा है in the same stats2 classes. Can you upload can you just open that file में एक बार उसी के ऊपर I was working today on that ना
Which one?
Illustrator. So stats class 2 के अंदर है. So stats के नाम से ही है नीचे ये इसके नीचे e data या this one.
For everyone else, once you have done with your GitHub, please share me your GitHub links. Yeah. Where should I go, Akansh?
So थोड़ा ये रहा सर जैसे ये
This one.
this is without any what we call
Raw
log or
data.
yeah without any transformation. So kurtosis was 68.5 in mileage. So what exactly I can मतलब कि मैं सामने वाले को क्या समझाऊं कि kurtosis high है 68.5 है तो उससे मतलब exactly what's मतलब stats के terms में मैं उसको क्या समझा सकता हूँ.
अच्छा, so kurtosis अगर तुम्हारा इतना हाई है तो firstly it's peaked.
Yeah.
Right. And basically what we do is we have a general rule of thumb, anything greater than 3, okay,
Yeah.
will have a high peak. What it means is that a lot of data is concentrated with only small set of points. So for example, if I'm looking at, let's say, mileage here, okay, so most of the cars have mileage between, let's say this is 0.1. I'm assuming there won't be any zero. And if there are zeros, then obviously we are, I mean, the data is probably incorrect, right? Because there can't be zero mileage of a car. So let's assume this is 0.1 and this is something like 0.2. Okay, so that means that a majority of the cars have their mileage between 0.1 and 0.2, and due to the kind of nature of mileage or whatever we can say, all the data is kind of concentrated in this particular location, right? So if I am doing a study here about let's say what is the average mileage of a car, maybe this data is not representative enough because I'm not considering the data which was probably from 0.5 to 0.1 or 1 to 1.5 or 1.5 to 2. 1.5 or yeah 1.5. Okay, so what this
LEG 6 में है मतलब पावर में है तो मे बी इस
अच्छा
चक्कर में
सॉरी हाँ आई डिडंट लुक हाँ तो जो भी है मतलब values this you can change whatever scale you can change. So see अब यहाँ पे क्या है ये इसमें by default ये Python इसको convert क्यों करता है क्योंकि see the kind of range you have. So in such cases if you want to visualize apply a log and then plot, then you will be because plot will remain same.
सर नीचे करा हुआ है लॉक के साथ ये वाला लॉक के साथ है.
तो अभी देखो ये कितना अच्छे से विजिबल है पैटर्न्स, राइट?
बट सर जब लॉग मैंने उस सेम कॉलम के ऊपर लगाया तो उसकी मतलब जो राइट स्क्यूड था वो लेफ्ट स्क्यूड हो गया, बट जो हाई था वो मतलब मीडियम के वो आ गया मतलब मीडियम आ गया.
वो ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन तो कर ही रहे हो ना तुम, तो देखो तुम्हारी इवन जो वैल्यूज भी थी कर्टोसिस और उसकी वो भी कम हो गई होंगी बिकॉज दीज आर यू नो हाउ कर्टोसिस इज कैलकुलेटेड द फॉर्मूला ऑफ कर्टोसिस at the end what it will do is it will pick these log transformed values and add it to a function, right? तो इसलिए
सर एक बार थोड़ा सा और नीचे करना.
Guys, just एक second hold करो अभिषेक. I'm getting one important call. Just a second. Guys, I'll have to rush. There is some medical emergency. Um, should we continue this session tomorrow? I'm
Yeah.
really sorry. Okay, I have to rush to hospital. Uh, so we'll start from starts again tomorrow. Okay, please park your questions. Okay, I'm really sorry for today, and we'll continue it tomorrow. There are like there's some issue at the hospital. I'll be going there. Okay. So I'll be stopping the session and I'll let Damini also know about today's session. Okay. Thank you. Thanks everyone. Bye-bye.